Greetings and welcome back to the Casual Wargamer. In this particular video, we'll be looking at the Emperor's Golden Boys, the Adeptus Custodes. The Custodes, Custodes, whatever you want to call them, are the personal bodyguard of the Emperor, now set out following the Adeptus Crusades to basically, I'm not really sure what their goal is. Are they there just to back up the Imperial forces? Who knows? Okay, the Custodes are what I consider the definition of the elite army in 40k. The definition of elite army is one that is tough as old boots, hits like a brick, but doesn't have a lot of models to compensate for that. And Custodes fit that perfectly. However, my experience of playing Custodes in 9th has been that they are, if you were to take just that, they are perfectly fine as is. It's that 4-up invulnerable save that's the problem. That makes them too hard to bring down. And pretty much most opponents will struggle against that. Because you're trying to lay waste to them and it's just not happening. They get into combat and they muller you. Drop that to a 5-up instead of a 4-up, and maybe they would be a little bit more balanced. Right now, I think they kind of tip that scale a little too far. And annoyingly, it seems like in 10th they are keeping the 4-up invulnerable save, which is a little bit of a disappointment to me. But that said, let's have a look at what the preview gave us. The first thing is their army rule. So all Custodes army gain the Martial Qatar rule, which is similar to what they have already with their stances. And you have 3 that you can choose from, and you choose at the start of the fight phase the Captaris stance, which means anyone hitting you in melee gets -1 to hit. The Dakatari stance, which means melee weapons that you are equipped with get sustained hits 1, and the Rendak stance, which means melee weapons equipped by your units have lethal hits. These are, as I say, not much different to what they currently use, and each one has a good use. For example, if you are facing a number of horde or even just lightly armored, say, guardsmen, the Dakatari stance will help you try and muller through them. Got some big gribbly alien monster coming at you, then you take the Captaris stance to try and reduce their effectiveness. No complaints there, looks good. The Shield Host Detachment special rule is Aegis of the Emperor, which gives them a feel no pain 4-up against mortal wounds. That's not so bad. How prevalent mortal wounds are going to be in 10th, we don't know. But if that's specifically what your detachment's giving you, I don't see that too much of a problem. Mortal wounds were quite heavy on the 9th, so this feels fair to me. The first preview we get is Trajan Valoris himself. Coming in, looking at the stats, he seems quite good. No complaints there. Toughness 6. Okay, he is a Custodes, fair play. 2-up save, 7 wounds, 5-up leadership, OC of 2. Comes equipped with the Watcher's Axe, which isn't too bad in melee or shooting. He has 2 special rules. One is the Captain General, so while he's leading a unit, you can ignore any or all modifiers to the characteristics of models in that unit and to any or all roll or tests made for models in that unit, excluding modifiers to saving throws. This, if I'm reading it right, seems really, really good. You're not going to have those penalties to battle shock tests in the squad that he's leading, which could be quite handy dandy if you've got it in the right situation. So quite good. And I'm sure other people have spotted things that I probably haven't on that make that ability even better. The second one is the Moment Shackle, which I think was a relic in the old in 9th edition. But basically, once per battle, at the start of the battle phase, fight phase, you can select one of the following to take effect until the end of the phase. Either his Watcher's Axe melee attacks becomes 12, so he gets a load of attacks if he really needs to hack through those gaunts or those guardsmen or whatever. He can have a 2-up invulnerable save. Yeah, won't grumble for that for a turn. And models in the unit have fight first. Again, quite handy, nice. And he has the built-in 4-up invulnerable save. Although as a character, I would expect him to have this. Okay, so initially I look at him and I go, really, really good. One thing strikes me as missing is, unlike other major characters, he has no command abilities. So he's not doing a Guilliman or an Abaddon or whatever and going, here's one of 3 things you can pick at the beginning of whatever phase. He's literally just going, I'm with this unit and I'm doing this. Not so sure I like that. I think as the main character of the faction, he should have something akin to what the other big bads give. But okay, can't complain. He's not too bad as he is. He could be a lot stronger. He could be a lot worse. You know. The next one we have is the Adeptus Custodians, who are kind of the terminators of the Adeptus Custodes. Toughness 7, so slight 1-up on Trajan, 2-up save, 4-up invulnerable, but they are terminators. 4 wounds, 6 leadership, 2 OC, and their weapons are okay. Ballistic grenade launcher, Castellan axe, and Guardian spear. The grenade launcher is a blast. The Castellan axe and the Guardian spear are assault weapons. Hitting on 2, so they're going to hit pretty much all the time. Strength 4, AP -1, 2 damage. So in shooting, they're not going to be mullering through anything too badly. In melee, the Castellan axe has 4 attacks, hits on 3s, strength 9, AP -1, 3 damage. So it's high strength. It's going to wound. Whether it gets through the armor is a different matter, but if it gets through, any infantry is basically dead. The Guardian Spear is 5 attacks, hits on 2, strength 7, -2 AP, 2 damage. Again, that'll do through a Marine. And the Misericordia, 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 5, AP -2, 1 damage. So it's less strength and less damage. Why would you not just take a Guardian Spear? It's not like it's an extra weapon either, like it used to be. Maybe it's a points thing. We'll have to see. But right now, Guardian Spear seems so much better. Special rules. Slayers of Tyrants. Each time a model in this unit makes a attack that targets a character, monster, or vehicle, you re-roll the wound roll. Awesome. Really good for dealing with those big gribblies. From Golden Light. Once per battle, at the end of your opponent's turn, if the unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and bring it back in the reinforcement steps of your next movement phase, more than 9 inches horizontally from any enemy models. So basically, they get each unit of the Adeptus Custodians gets a once per battle teleport away and come down wherever you want. Yeah, that seems quite reasonable. The War Gear ability here is Vexilia. Add 1 to the objective control characteristics of models in the bearer's unit. So if you've taken that, assuming they don't already come with it for some reason, they've got a better objective control. All in all, can't fault that. They are a Terminator equivalent for the Custodes. Lovely jubbly. Lastly, we get the Prosecutors, who are part of the Sisters of Silence. Although they're not called that on this, they are the Anathema Psychana, so cutting names out, I guess. A basic battle line unit, which obviously the Adeptus Custodes aren't. They are what you would expect. Only toughness 3, 3-up power armor save, no invulnerable, 1 wound, 6 leadership, 2 OC, equipped with bolt guns and close combat weapons. So nothing special, but probably cheap and easy to field. However, their funky abilities are Daughters of the Abyss, which means they get a 3-up feel no pain against psychic attacks. So there's no just knocking psychic powers out. It's now any damage dealt by a psychic power is probably not going to do a lot of damage to them. Not sure how I think about that, but if you're a Custodes player and you use the old Sisters of Silence, what do you think on that? Let me know. Also, they have Purity of Execution. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets a Psyker, the attack gains precision and devastating wounds. So you can basically pick out the Librarian or the Farseer or whatever and basically go, we're getting rid of him. Yeah, again, nothing too outlandish, nothing too weak. No complaints. I would have liked to have seen some more of the Custodes battle line options rather than just Sisters, but hey ho. But of the 3 units presented, look quite good. No complaints. We do get 1 weapon spotlight, which is the Executioner Great Blade, which is found on the Vigilators. And these are anti-Psycho 4+, devastating wounds, so this is going to hurt certain armies. Melee, 2 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 5, AP -2, 2 damage. Okay, you're going after, as it says, yes, here, hunting down Colossal Knight Abominants or Psychic Monstrosities of the High Fleets. That's quite nice. And it's going to be good against everybody else as well, so hey ho. And lastly, we get the stratagem of the Vigil Unending. So in your command phase, 1 Adeptus Custodes unit, one infantry unit for your army, excluding Anathema Psychanus, only Custodes. 1 destroyed model, excluding a character, is returned to your unit with its full wounds remaining. You cannot target the same unit with this stratagem more than once per battle. So basically, for 1 CP, you can have a dead guy pop back to a unit once per unit. Yeah, you know what? I gave a slight grumble that they were slightly too hard to take down, but I'm not going to fault them this one. That's quite good. And it's kind of fitting with the fluff that these guys are slightly better than Space Marines. And I say slightly because I'm a Space Marine player and it hurts. Yeah, no grumbles there. So, I would like to have seen, I know these are only previews and we've got to wait for the release, but I would have liked to see a little bit more to these guys in this. What we've got here isn't bad. The 3 options given to us, Trajan, Valorous, the Alaris Custodians, and the Prosecutors, seem quite reasonable. As I said, my only sort of grumble is if everything in the army keeps a 4-up invulnerable save. The only other thing which isn't a part of this preview, but I'm going to be interested to see what happens in 10th, is with the Allies rules, if there are any. Because since the release of Arcs of Omen, the Grand Tournament Pack, every Custodes player I have faced has brought Knight allies. In each case, it has been a pair of like armigers with autocannons, and it has made a huge difference and made the games interesting, but very difficult to deal with. That's a big enhancement to the army if they can continue to take allies, especially knights. So I'm hoping 10th won't allow them to do that. Anyway, from this preview, I have no grumbles. I like the look of it. They seem quite reasonably balanced from what I've seen here. Obviously, we will have to wait until the actual index release to see what truly happens. But what are your thoughts on this particular preview? Pop down and comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. If you agree with something or disagree with something, let me know. And hit the subscribe button because it will help the channel grow. And until next time, enjoy, take care, good gaming.